Okay, 3.1. Directions say solve the equation for x. Okay, so I'm going to split each side of my notes into 8 boxes, okay? That's the way the kids on site have it. So this first problem, it says x plus 2 equals 20. Here's what my job is. I need to find what number x is equal myself, okay? So some number, this x number, if I add 2, it equals 20. Well, I mean, I could guess, let's say I guess 8. 8 plus 2 is 10 though, so it can't be 8. So here's the way we're going to go about doing this. Now, I want to show our work because when this gets tougher, we're going to be glad we did. Now, I circle the equals, okay? Equals has 2 sides, the left and the right. The x is on the left. Make kind of an imaginary wall on that side. Now, what operations do we have on that side? Well, we have a plus 2, okay? Adding 2. So I'm going to circle the x. I have to get the x by itself. I have to undo this plus 2. Basically what that means is I have to go from 2 to 0 on this side, okay? How would you take a positive 2 and get to 0? Well, here's a number line, okay? To get from this 2 to 0, I would have to go 1, 2. I'd have to go backwards 2, 1, 2. Backwards means minus, okay? So backwards 2 means minus 2, okay, and then I'm at 0. Now I I go to the other side of the wall, okay, and I have to minus 2 from there. What I do to this side of the wall, I have to do on the other side of the wall, okay. So line up your equals. 2 minus 2 is 0, so you can cross that out, and you have x by itself. Now on the other side, 20 minus 2 is 18. So x equals 18, because 18 plus 2 equals 20. Next one, x plus 8 equals negative 16. So I circle the equals, and I have to find what number x is. So x is on the left side of the equation, okay? So again, I make the wall on that side. So the only operation you have is a plus. You don't have any multiplication, any division, so you just circle the x. So you have to take a positive 8 and get to 0. Well, again, I'd go backwards 8 to get to 0. Backwards means minus. I minus 8, and that takes us to 0, but then I go to the other side of the wall and minus 8 to the number over there. So line up your equals and you have x. Now on the other side, I'm at negative 16 minus 8. Okay, so negative 16 on a calculator, subtract 8 is negative 24. Okay, because my number line does not go that far. So negative 24 is the answer for x. Okay, next one. 14 equals x plus 24. I have to find what x is. Okay, so remember that equals has a left and a right. This time the x is on the right side. So that's the side I look for the operations. Now we have a positive 24. To get from positive 24 to 0, I mean positive 24 would be way out here. To get to 0, I have to go backwards 24. So I would minus 24. And 24 minus 24 is 0. Now I go to the other side of the wall, and I need to minus 24 from that side. I have to take 24 away from both sides. It's like a balance. If you have like a bar with weight on it, if I take 24 off of one side, I have to take 24 from the other side. So line up your equals. 14, and then put your x. Remember, put the x, don't change the side the x on. Then 14 take away 24. In algebra, you can do that. You just end up as a negative. Okay? So negative 10. So that's my answer for x. Okay, next one. Negative 30 equals x plus 6. So x is on the right side, okay? So I don't care about the other side, it's all about the side that the x is on. So we have one operation, a plus 6, no multiplying, no dividing. So I circle the x, and I've got to get that from positive 6 to 0. To get from positive 6 to 0, we have to go backwards 6. So I take away 6 from that side, and now that'll be 0. Now I go to the other side of wall and take away 6. So equals, we have the x here, and 30 minus 6 is 24. Okay, 24 equals x. Okay, next one. 14 plus x equals negative 30. Okay. So there's a left and a right side. X is on the left side. Okay. The operation I have on that side is plus, no times, no divide, so I circle the x. Now we have this 14. If it doesn't have a sign in front of it, it is a positive. Okay. You automatically put a positive there. So I have to go from positive 14 to 0. Again, I'd be traveling backwards, so I would minus 14. Backwards means minus, forward means plus. 14 minus 14, 0. Now I go to the other side of the equals, the other side of the wall, and the number over there I need to take away 14. Okay. So I have x over here, and then on the other side I take negative 30 minus 14, okay, and that's negative 44. Okay, now the next problem, okay, negative 30 equals x plus 20, solving for x. Okay, so the x variable is on the right side of the equals, so this is where we're looking at, okay, the right side, because that's where the x is at, okay, so I make a wall because that's where I want to do my work to start with. Okay, x and 20 has a plus, so I circle the x, and I've got to get that positive 20 to a 0, so to go from positive to 0, you subtract 20. And that'll take you to 0, means you can cross it out. Now go to the other side and take away 20 from that. Okay, I'm taking away 20 from this side and this side. So line up your equals, we have x right there. Negative 30 minus 20. If I have negative 30 and take away 20, I'm going backwards. It would be negative 50. Okay, next problem. Negative 16 equals x plus 3. So there's x is on the right side, so over here. So we have to take our plus 3 to a 0. Okay, positive 3 to 0. No multiplying, no adding. Take your positive 3 to a 0, you go backwards 3. So minus 3. Now I'm at 0. Once you get it so you know you're going to be at 0, cross it out. But now you got to go to the other side of the wall and minus 3 there. So line up your equals. You have x and then negative 16 minus 3 gives me negative 19. Okay, next problem. X plus 8 equals 24. So we have a left and a right. So on the left side, that's where I want to do my work because that's where the x is at. So you're taking a positive 8 to 0. Okay. To go from positive 8 to 0, you would have to subtract 8. Now go to the other side of your wall, and we know that that's 0. Go to the other side of the wall and subtract 8 from 24. Now line up your equals before you write anything else down. You have x on this side. 24 minus 8 is 16. Okay. X equals 16. Okay. Now I'm on a new page, so I make my 8 boxes. Now the game changes a little bit on this side. Okay. X minus 6 equals 2. Okay, so over here, again, x is on the left side. Now the operation's not a plus, it's a minus. You circle your x. When the operation is a minus, you are going to make it plus negative 6. Okay? So now you have to get from negative 6 to 0. So if I'm at negative 6 and I'd have to go forward this time to get to 0. See, when I had a positive, I could go backwards, but now it's a negative, so I go forwards to get to 0. Okay? Forwards this way. Okay? If a guy's walking, we'd be walking forwards. When you walk forwards, you add. Okay? So we are going to add 6. Okay? Negative 6 plus 6, it means negative 6 forward 6, I'm at 0. So guess what I get to do? Cross it off. Now go to the other side and add 6 to your 2. So I have x, 2 plus 6 is 8. So it's 8. Next problem, x minus 4 equals negative 3. I have to find what the number the x equals. Okay, x is on the left. The operation's minus, so I circle the x, but then the minus I'm going to make a plus negative 4. Okay, so we need to get that negative 4 to a 0. So again, negative to 0 is forward 4, which means in math adding. Okay, so plus 4, and that'll take you to 0. But then you got to go to the other side of the wall and add 4 on that side. Whatever you do to one side of the wall, you have to do to the other. So line up your equals and you have x. Negative 3 plus 4 is 1. Okay, next problem. Negative 8 plus x equals negative 3. So here's the equals. X is on the left-hand side. Okay. So the operation's a plus, so I circle the x, and I have to go from negative 8 to 0. So from negative 8 to 0 is forward 8, okay, forward 8. So I'm going this way, guys, walking forward, okay. If I'm at a positive and I have to get to 0, I'm walking backwards, but the negative to 0, I'm walking forward. Walking forward means plus 8, okay. And that's at 0. Now I go under the negative 3 on the other side of the wall and plus 8. So I line up the equals and we have x. Negative 3 plus 8. You can use a calculator or a number line. If you're at negative 3 and you go forward 8, because that's plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That would take you to 5. Negative 3 plus 8 is 5. Okay, next problem. Negative 14 equals x minus 7. So make a wall on the side of the equals where the x is at. You circle it, and then on that side of the circle, whatever side the x is on. So the operation's minus, so I circle the x. I'm going to make the minus into plus negative. Okay. Let's make our minus operators into plus negative. So it's negative 7, I have to go to 0. So negative 7 to 0 is forward 7, okay? So forward means add, so plus 7. And you can cross that out. Then go to the other side of the wall and plus 7. So equals, you have x right there. On the other side, we have to take negative 14 plus 7. It'd be negative 7. Okay, next one. 12 equals x minus 4. So here's the equals. The x is on this side. We have a subtraction operation, so x, okay. Now remember, minus 4, it means plus negative 4, okay. So I got to go from negative 4 to 0. So to negative 4 to 0, I'm going forward, so I plus 4. That takes me to 0. But then I have to go to the other side and plus 4. So line up your equals. You have 12 plus 4 is 16. Then you have x. There's your answer. Okay, next one. X minus 7 equals negative 1. So I circled it. The x is on this side of the circle. So the operation I have is a minus. So I circle the x. So minus 7, that means plus negative 7. So I'm trying to get from negative 7 to 0. Negative 7 to 0. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going forward, so that's plus 7. So you got x. Negative 1 plus 7 is 6. If you're working at home, you might want to draw a number line, positive 1 through 12, and then negative 1 through negative 12. That's how the number system works. Okay, next one. Negative 5 equals x minus 2. Okay. So here's the equals. X is on this side. So I have the operation minus 2. So I circle the x plus negative 2. So I have to get from negative 2 to 0. So getting from a negative to 0, I have to go forward. So that is plus 2. Go to the other side and plus 2. Line up your equals. You have x. Negative 5 plus 2, you can do it on a calculator or say, okay, I'm at negative 5 on the number line. Plus 2 means forward 2, 1, 2, negative 3. Or you can take a calculator and just quickly punch in negative 5 plus 2. Okay, last problem. Negative 8 equals x plus 3. So here's the equals. This is where x is. The operation is plus 3, so I circle x. Now the 3 is positive, okay? It is not a negative, it's a positive. So positive 3 is on this side of 0, and to get to 0 we have to move backwards, which means minus 3. 3 minus 3 is 0. Now go to the other side and minus 3. So we have x. Negative 8 minus 3. You can do it. You can just quickly punch in negative 8 minus 3 on a calculator, or you can go on a number line, and when I minus 3, I go backwards from negative 8. 1, 2, 3, so negative 11.